Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and welcome to another DnDaily. This is number 92 here. Getting awfully close to 100, which feels pretty good. I mean, this is kind of cool. We got like 3 months that I've been doing these daily D&D and RPG vlogs, and I feel great about that. I'm excited about continuing this through the rest of the year. And I have some fun, quick stuff to talk about, and just a quick update before we go into this next week. Oddly, I have not finished watching this week's Critical Role yet. I, I, I know. I guess I don't know where the weekend happened. You know, I was with family, and things just like zoomed by, and I got stuff to do, and so now I get to relax this evening and watch a little bit of the rest of that session until I'm ready to fall asleep. And then I get to check out the chain tomorrow. So I'm excited about that because I've really been digging the chain a lot. It's such a different, there's such a juxtaposition between the two games, you know, where you have the main difference, like one of the main differences, I should say, one of the main differences, you have two fantastic DMs, right? One of the and great players in both games. One of the main differences to me is that you end up with the Critical Role. Everybody plays in character because that's their thing. That's their game. They are voice actors. They get into it. In the chain, there's very little role playing so far, anyway, in character. Like they do some, but a lot of it has this old school feel. It's really cool. Their game feels like a lot of the games that I've played in. You have a bunch of friends hanging out and rolling dice and talking about stats and actions and the combat and what's happening and doing more of a like describing and question asking kind of feel around the table, not so much like in character, like talking as your character and this is what I'm doing in character. So it's got a totally different feel. They do role play, like Boots and Slim for sure. You get a fair amount of role playing from their two players, and they all do to some degree, but it's like sporadic. It's kind of like peppered in to the game from time to time. It's not like the whole session feels like that, contradicted to Critical Role, where it's like the players are almost exclusively in character. It's kind of cool. It's neat. It's great to see these two very different games being played because it gives people, I think it's good, like I hope that the chain gets very popular so that other people see like not every game is the same, for sure, without question. And speaking of that, the topic I think I want to have a quick chat about tonight is actually about community. And there's something I've just really recently learned about, which is that like there's something called lines and veils. This is new to me and I dig it. I'm learning and I'm really enjoying it. So I have the opportunity to get into a few streams. Like I'm working towards participating in other games, in other streams, and just getting myself out there in the community again to meet new people, to have more fun playing more awesome games, and maybe also get a little bit of exposure, so that might help attract other people that might be interested in this vlog. And so with that, I'm because I'm participating in and learning about new gaming groups, let's call them, I'm also learning new terminology and new, things that they have in place to create inclusiveness and to sort of protect the people within the group, which is awesome. I'm like super stoked about this. So I'm learning about lines and veils. And I think the way to understand it is this is just my first kind of basic understanding of it. And I'm going to dig deep into this. I'm going to share more about this probably during the week as I understand it better. The way I kind of feel it is like lines are like hard lines. Like you do not cross this line. For instance, like, and I think this is for sure true for me, and maybe it should be in most every D&D game, but maybe some people are okay having it in their game on some level. So, for instance, rape is a very hot button. It triggers people. I respect that. I understand. It's a hot button for me, and because I've known so many who have had to face that horrible trauma and what that means and what it does for people. And so for me, I think in my games, that is a major hard line for me. Like that is not going to be allowed in the game. Discussion of it, even really don't want it there, and other things, like for sure not having that happen during the game. I'd kind of prefer it wasn't part of someone's backstory. That maybe we could deal with and address, because in a lot of games, a lot of D&D games, we kind of work stuff out through the games, a lot of us, which is fine as long as everybody has an understanding that that's happening and you're all friends, and everybody feels like they're in a safe space. So that's kind of the way I understand lines. Another line for me, because I'm a parent, is anything around like kids. Maybe this might be a veil. Okay, so like having things happen to kids can be an interesting story because you want to protect the kids. That's okay. So that might be a veil. And the way I'm understanding is lines are like absolutely no. Veils are kind of like, okay, maybe. We've got to be careful. This is kind of the way I'm understanding it, and I've encountered it twice now within the past 2 days in two totally different situations, which is cool because that I think that signifies that this is becoming maybe this is going to become a norm for gaming, which is awesome. And I have this thought, and I'm going to share this thought, and then I'll end this vlog for today. I have this feeling today that like something really interesting is happening with our greater community, with the RPG, with the ttrpg, with the gaming community on a certain level. For sure, role-playing games. I feel like we're learning and teaching each other and maybe the rest of the world on some level what inclusion and respect is all about. Like, I think that's sort of what's happening. I hope that's what's happening, because that's kind of what I want to see in the world. So cool. I'm going to think more about that. I'm going to probably talk more about that. I hope that's what's happening. That's what I sort of see. Now, this could be just my perspective, but that's sort of what I see happening. People are starting to, like express, hey, everybody's welcome. And hey, it doesn't matter who you are. There's a place for everybody to play. And isn't that cool? And again, I'm going to keep saying this, at least for the time being. I want this. I'm hoping that this will become a movement that people will pick up with and understand and appreciate and share with each other, and bring their own things to it too. Is that, hey, it's your game. Play your way. Like that's what I'm feeling in my heart, and I want everybody to be a part of that. And if you play games, I want you to be a part of that. I hope to get to see you at a table someday. Think about how you're building your community. When you're building a game table, you're building a community. Think about that. It's like a little tribe, right? I hope to see you at a table someday. Keep rolling 20s until then, and do remember, it's your game. Play your way. I'll see you next time.